Top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, baby, the Bears are showing their face, guys. Let me know if I'm blowing out your eardrums real quick, guys. I think I might be going to go ahead and lower the levels a little bit. That should be a bit better, but just let me know in the chat if the audio is good. We got Rob the Crypto Snob popping in the chat. What is going on, man? Let me clear my throat. Guys, the Bears are out to play, and oh, baby, do we have a show for you guys tonight. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Now, oh my God, Bitcoin's falling apart. It's going to zero. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero, but if you guys watched the live stream at any point last week, you will kind of know what our sentiment was and exactly what we were looking at and what we were kind of expecting, right? You can never 100% predict if you're going to get the breakdown or not, but we were prepared and looking for some very, very specific things to get this move to the downside. And guys, if you were watching the live stream on Friday, almost to the dollar, we got exactly what we were looking for. And as I always say, that is not me tooting my own horn. This is me about to go over exactly what we were looking at on Friday's stream so you guys can learn this and learn how to do it yourself. So when I'm not available to go live or post in the Discord or what have you, you can see this stuff coming before it actually happens like we do. But guys, I was talking to the premium Discord a little bit earlier today in our premium live stream, and I was telling them, like, this is a great time. If you've been watching this live stream for the past couple of weeks, this is a great time, or the past 2 weeks have been could have expedited so much learning for a new trader or a new technical analyst, just because the market doesn't always play out according to the technical analysis rules, right? But, obviously it's just a game of probability, and if something happens 77% of the time, it's just about going with the probabilities. But although TA does not always play out exactly as you would think 100% of the time, for the past 2 weeks, everything we've been talking about on the live stream has been playing out exactly as we would expect. So if you've been watching these live streams, it's been a perfect learning opportunity because we always talk about what we are looking to happen, right? What we are looking for as far as, what we think price action is going to do, right? And we always, obviously, that's kind of the whole point of this channel, is to try to figure out what Bitcoin's going to do before it actually happens so we can make money trading it, whether it's going up or down, right? But over the past 2 weeks, guys, every move to the upside we've looked for, I've been very explicit about feeling more comfortable to short the lower high, right? If you guys watch the live stream, again, audio is a bit better, but still clipping. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that, Rob. I appreciate you. Those emojis are better than you would actually think at catching my attention. As soon as those emojis came in, I saw that. Let me go ahead and bring it down one more time. That should be a little bit better. Rob, let me know if that is better. But you guys will know I've been saying I am much more comfortable shorting a lower high rather than looking for a moonshot long up to 100K. I say that lightheartedly, obviously, but there were very specific reasons why we were looking to short the lower high rather than looking for that moonshot long. And shout out to anybody who watches this live stream, guys. You will know this was the case. But there were some really specific reasons why we were not looking for the moonshot rather than we were rather looking for the short lackluster move to the upside to put in a lower high and return back to make a lower low. And I want to go over some of those actual things that we were looking at. Shout out to Darren does things with the hot dog emoji, the key, and the candle. It's like one of my favorite things. I love that. Frankie Candles. I love it. But I want to go over those specific things we were looking at on last week's live streams, guys, that were making me more comfortable shorting those lower highs rather than looking for the super, long-term 100K moonshot long position. Now, we were longing those moves to the upside, but knowing the context of the market, knowing to be taking profits very aggressively, expecting that lower high to come in before returning back to the downside. So I want to cover that stuff with you guys so you guys can also see this stuff before it happens, just like I do. But before we get into it, hold on a second. Hold on. Wait, what is going on right now? Hold up. Chat rate's at 21. I see it flying up. Wait, what is going on? Creighton C, is your... Yo, wait a second. Creighton C, you're glitching, dude. Is that real? Did he actually do that? Hold up. Wait, hang on. I think that's a glitch. Hold up. Creighton C, did you just gift like 80 subs? Or 80... Hold on. What is going on right now? I don't mean like what's going on, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I mean like what is happening. Creighton C, hold up. It says that Creighton C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50. Did you just gift 60, 70? Hold on a second. That's a glitch, right? Mods, can you confirm this for me? Is this a glitch? It says Creighton C gifted... No, this is a glitch. It says Creighton C gifted like 200 subs almost. What is going on right now? Okay, wait a second. Yo, what is happening right now? Okay, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Chat is freaking out. What is going on right now? Hold on. Guys, I got to bear with me, guys. I got to refresh this page. I don't know what is going on. It says Creighton C is gifting 10 subs every 5 seconds. This is wild. I don't know what is going on. I'm going to let that refresh. But guys, we're going to be going over what we were looking at yesterday or last week that were indeed, you guys remember, the money flow on the higher time frames as well as the medium hourly time frames were some of the biggest things that were making us look for a lower high to come in. And not only that, we were giving the exact levels, which I'm going to show again. They're going to look familiar to you. We're actually giving the exact levels that we expected those lower highs to come into. And we didn't hit it to the dollar, but we missed it by just 50 bucks. So, yeah, we're going to be looking at that, guys. I don't know how I'm going to do this, guys. I don't know if this is YouTube. What is going on? Well, shout out to Creighton C. Creighton C is glitching. He's gifted like 1,000 subs. But shout out to Creighton C. I don't know if you gifted 1,000 or just 10 and it's glitching, but shout out to Creighton C. Thank you for gifting those memberships. I know the CandleMafia appreciates it. Chat is going insane. Hang on. I'm going to pull this up really quickly. Guys, like, what is going on here? Look. Boom. Like, chat never moves like this. And then Creighton C with 11 gifts. I don't know what's going on, guys. Or maybe chat's just popping off more than usual. I don't know. But without further ado, I'm going to try to shout out some people in chat, and then we're going to get right into the charts because we do have a whole lot to look at. And we just went through a really boring phase, guys. So I am excited for today's show because there's actually something to look at. But first off, let's say what's up to the Mafia. Shout out to Dave Digital, as always. Happy to have you here. Hey, Dave. I need you to be on the lookout in case you got to call the cops on any CandleMafia members stepping out of line with hilarious jokes that send me off into a distracted tangent. So shout out to Dave Digital. He is now CandleMafia Security. Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm just kidding, guys. But Darren does things, as always, super. Oh, close the polls. Darren, if this fixes... Shout out to Darren. I think you're going to be right about this. 75% of you guys hit the like button. If you have not hit the like button, don't forget to smash it. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure. The more spins, the more wins. And last week, we gave 2 CandleMafia members a free month of the premium Discord, and we gave away a free month of the BitLab Academy. Yeah, we've been giving away some good stuff. So definitely smash that like button if you have not already, the 25% of you that didn't. But shout out to Darren Does Things. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Dora. What is going on? Dora said, send to me, please. The membership they're talking about. Shout out to Dora. Shout out to Crypto Lady, LFG, let's go. Shout out to Crypto Lady, what is going on? Let's see, Gravy Train, what is going on? My app just crashed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to unpin this comment, maybe? I don't know. Unpin message? Is it because, hold on, I pinned Creighton C's message, and then he gifted memberships, and then it tweaked out. I think that might have broke YouTube. But shout out to Jessica, our female CandleMafia representative. Shout out to Curtis Neal. What is going on, man? Thank you for being here. Ruan B, Crypto. Oh, I don't want to say that word out loud, but shout out to Ruan B. Thank you for being here. Yeah, let's see. The fault in the building. Yeah. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Mr. Blake Shirley Sound. Let's see. Oh, God. Okay. Now it's fixed. Now chat's popping off as it normally does. ADD Dad in the chat. Good to see you, ADD Dad. What is going on? John Davis in the house. Crypto Infinity, as always, happy to see you. We got Ian in chat. I don't know if I said that right. Let's see. We got Scuba Steve saying what's up to Creighton. Brewski in the house. What is going on, man? Nate, Quantum Divergence. I saw you. You disappeared, but I saw you there. French Toaster in the chat. Things are going absolutely insane right now. Chat is bugging out. But with all that being said, shout out to all the CandleMafia members out there. Shout out to the 762 people watching right now. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts and try to figure out what the heck Bitcoin is doing. But here we are, guys. I'm going to turn off that TA. And we got a lot to look at, guys. First off, I want to talk about the daily and the 2-day. Now, this was the 2 of the main things that we were looking at that were making us more comfortable shorting lower highs rather than looking for those moonshot longs. And I want to talk about, we got a lot to look at, guys. But taking a look at that daily. Money flow. We were talking about this all the way back in Miami. And once we got this money flow crossover into the red, as we were approaching the lows of our range here, obviously I'm talking about our macro range right here, this volume profile. But as we were approaching those lows, we were looking at this money flow crossover into the red, which was basically, was this? Yeah, this was back in, the 17th. It had to be when we were in Miami, when I went on Ben's show in our travel setup. Yo, chat rate is a 63. Is this glitching, or is everybody chatting super fast? I have no idea what is going on. No idea. My YouTube crashed. Really? So YouTube, hey, it's fixed. Okay, wait, so you guys are experiencing weird YouTube stuff as well. Interesting. But I'm going to try to power through this. The simulation is tweaking. Okay, so you guys see this too. I have no idea what is going to happen. Shout out to you guys. Hey, we got Pearls in the chat. Pearls, I love you, brother. What is going on, man? But guys, you guys will remember, right, in Miami, we were talking about that money flow crossover into the red, talking about how this could be pretty bearish for Bitcoin, and I would have to lean a little bit more bearish in the medium term. However, we never get overly bearish at support, right? You don't want to get super bearish at support because obviously when you come down to support, it's very likely that you're going to get a bounce to the upside, even if it is going to be short term, because we knew that the money flow coming out on the daily would continue that downtrend, right? Or you know, we knew it was likely that were going to be the case, but we knew that money flow was in the red, and it would likely continue a downtrend here. And that is basically why, again, there were a couple times that we were looking to short lower highs. The first time was right here on this daily bullish divergence with our lower lows on price action and our higher lows on our momentum waves, which gave us a daily bull div, a very, very bullish sign. When you have a bullish divergence on something like the daily, you can expect that to, not 100% of the time, but oftentimes, I mean, this is going to play out 9 out of 10 times, right? You're going to likely get at least some kind of a move to the upside off that daily bull div. But why were we looking for a short right here? The reason for that was because our money flow was not in agreement with that daily bull div. Keeping it simple, right? The bull div was here, but money flow was fighting against it. So we knew that the bull div would likely give us a move up, but because the money flow was fighting against us coming into the red, we knew that would likely continue the downtrend. We were looking to short a lower high. And I want to talk about why we were looking for a short literally right at this level. Because I don't want to gatekeep, right? I want to show you guys where we got that level from and why we were looking for shorts at that level, because there's a few different reasons, right? Now, not only did we have the money flow in the red on the daily, but we also had the 2-day money flow crossing over into the red, right? So this was another thing that was making us think, hey, maybe we're going to get a little bit of a continued downtrend here. But as we printed this 2-day green dot, which was happening almost at the same exact time as this this daily bull div, we also printed that daily green dot, expecting a move to the upside, but again, we expected it to be a lackluster move before rolling around and coming back to the downside. And again, that was simply because our money flow was coming into the red, right? So when I say something looks bearish, we talk about this all the time. And I kind of want to clear it up because it is a very hard job. People say, are you bullish or bearish, right? And you got to ask the question, in what time frame? Over the next day? Over the next hour? Over the next week? Because I could be bullish on the daily and super bearish on the 15-minute, right? So if you say to me, what is Bitcoin going to do right now? I would have to go down to a low time frame because this is right now. I would expect that right now we're going to hit a little bit of resistance, and right now I would assume that we're going to get some kind of a retracement to the downside because we did get a little bit of a bounce here, right? But if you go to the daily, right, we're obviously getting nuked, right? So how could you be super bullish, right? So you have to break it up into time frames. But the reason I bring this up, guys, is because in the short term, right, we were looking for longs on this 2-day green dot, on the daily bullish divergence. And the green dots indicate the shorter term moves. They indicate the noise, if you will, in the market, right? Because right here, we have a downtrend. We have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, right? That's a downtrend. And the reason that I would remain a little bit more bearish than bullish right now would be because of the money flow in the red, right? Now, that's what money flow indicates, is the longer-term trend, right? Longer-term trend to the downside is indicated by the money flow. The green and the red dots indicate the noise in the market. The green and red dots indicate these moves, right? I'm not going to try to line these up exactly. I just want to get this point across. Red dot, move to the downside. Green dot, move to the upside. Red dot, move to the downside. Green dot, move to the upside. Red dot, move to the downside, right? Money flow crossover into the red, you're expecting a long-term move to the downside, considering this whole thing one move, where the green and the red dots will give you multiple little moves within the bigger move. Does that make sense? That is why we were looking to short lower highs. And where were we looking to short those lower highs, guys? If you guys remember the stream from last week, let's go ahead and zoom in here. Come to the 2 hour. Come to the 2 hour here. Where were we looking for those lower highs to come in? Now, naturally, the way I trade, I obviously look at the volume profiles very, very often. Now, shout out to Ryan, said you're a blessing, man. Shout out to you. You're a blessing. Thank you for being here, Ryan. I appreciate you. But why, right? This was that 2-day green dot. Now, we were long from down here, rode up, right, to this 786, which is a level that we gave for free on the live stream and in the Discord, right? In the free Discord. I couldn't go live on that Friday, so I put that post in the free Discord, letting everybody know kind of what my thoughts were. And I'm actually kind of happy I got to put this in an actual Discord post, right? Because now I can go back and reference this to kind of show you guys exactly what we were looking at. So I'm going to pull this up. Now, this is what we were expecting. That 2-day green dot and daily bull div, this is the 12-hour, but it was right what the daily bull div was printing, and that 2-day green dot. We were looking for a move up to that 786, right? Golden pocket 786 retracement level. And the reason we were expecting to come up here and reject, like I drew this arrow, was because of the money flow on the daily and the 2-day. We were expecting that move up because obviously at a daily bull div, that's likely going to give you a pump to the upside, but we knew, we had context that it wasn't going to be this massive new high that we were going to make because money was leaving the asset, right? Money was leaving the asset. You are much more likely to get that higher high if you have money flow in the red cruising up to crossover into the green. But we had the exact opposite. So we were able to look at the green dot to profit off of this long position from down here all the way up to the 786, which I'll pull the chart up again, which we came right up to, right down here, Let me pull up. I'll pull up the 12 hours so it looks as similar as possible, right? We were looking right here, and then you get that move up to the 786, exactly how we were looking. And don't get it twisted. I am not bragging. I am showing you this because I want you to learn how to do it yourself. We got that move up into the 786, and we were expecting that move to the downside. And the reason we were looking for the move to the downside was because of money flow, and we got almost, I mean, couldn't have played out any better, right? Came out to the 786, and we came down, and we are now sitting, we put in a lower low on the wick, not the body just yet, but we wound up getting rejected and getting that move to the downside. And if you guys remember on Friday, we were looking for a local bounce because we were coming down to the low of our volume profile. We came to the low of the range. So what were we expecting on Friday? We were, I think actually, I was saying I wouldn't be surprised. I think it was my exact wording. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a bounce from the low of the range back up to the value area high, which at that time was coming in at about $27,500. What happened? Price went from the value area low. Shout out to the volume profiles. This is not because I'm a wizard or I'm a math, I'm a algorithm genius or I'm doing some secret stuff on the side, guys. I am showing you exactly how I found this, right? We come to the low of the volume profile. Shout out to the volume profiles. And we were expecting, because when you hold support on your value area low, you're likely to get a move up. I mean, your POC was very close, but you're likely to get a move back up to the highs of your range. And what happened? We got to move up to the high of the range. And again, that value area high was coming in right here, right? It was, I think this, or no, it was 27,500. But since price action developed, these levels do move automatically as price action develops. So this has shifted down over the weekend as we've gotten this dump. But what happened? We went from the low of the volume profile, the value area low, right up to the value area high. We tested it once, we tested it twice, and we shot up and came to $27,450. We were $45 short of hitting our exact level, and that is where we were looking for that lower high to come in. Not only was it our current value area high at that time, but it was also right in between our golden pocket and 786 Fibonacci retracement levels, which we know is likely where price will go ahead and put a, let me turn off the magnet tool here, likely come up, put in a lower high, and move back to the downside. This is, and I really hope that there is a lot of people that were in that live stream that saw that happen, right? Because I think that was probably a big aha moment for a lot of people. Because the same thing happened on this move, right? Where were we looking for price to come up to? Again, we were expecting this to be a lackluster move and looking for shorts over here and taking profits on the long that we took from up here with the premium Discord, but not, why were we looking to pull our long or take profit on our long here and look for a short? The reason was because just like we were looking for a move up into that golden pocket 786 retracement level before putting in a lower high and coming lower, we were in the same exact position right here as we made a move up in between the golden pocket and 786. We actually came out to touch the 786 this time. And we know that's likely where price will put in a lower high and continue to the downside. And that was two perfect examples of shorting a lower high. Now, you're not always going to look to short a lower high. The reason why we were confident in sitting on our hand, well, we scalp long this, but the reason why the reason why you would sit on your hands here, again, you could scalp long it. Let's pretend you don't scalp long it, right? The reason you would sit on your hands and prefer to enter a short rather than long this move up is because of money flow. So the money flow coming into the red on the higher time frames was letting you know that, hey, I know it looks bullish right now. We got a bull div on the daily. That's bullish. But I'm not expecting it to be a big move because money flow is disagreeing with that. And I know money flow indicates the longer-term trend. So I know that green dot on the dailies likely going to give us a move up. But when it gets up to that local retracement level, I'm going to be looking for shorts. And that's exactly what we did. I actually, full transparency, excuse me, I didn't catch the top of this move. I actually wound up missing my entry here, came all the way down. But what did I do? What did I do to get into that short? I waited for another retracement on more of a local level, and I'll clean this up just to make it a little easier to see. What did I do? I waited for another local golden pocket retracement, which I guess was, whoops, let me grab this, right here, right? From that wick all the way to the low of this move, we came up, and not only did we test the golden pocket 786 retracement levels, but we also tested that value area high of the local range, which are already looking for scalp shorts there, because if you come down to a lower time frame where that is actually somewhat of a tradable range, the way you would trade this volume profile would be looking for longs at the lows, and then when you come back up to the value area high, you would look for short confirmations, and I got in on this retest of that local golden pocket. So that is, I hope that didn't confuse anybody zooming into this little retracement. Maybe don't think too much into that. It might be it might confuse some people, but I want you guys to understand why we were looking to short that lower high rather than looking for that moonshot long. And it was perfectly exemplified. I recommend you guys go back and just, this is in the free Discord, I recommend you just go back here and just reread this and look at the charts and then look back at the real chart and see what happened. And you could get some serious insight. And it's just a perfect learning opportunity just because things played out absolutely perfect, right? We looked for the lower high here, came down, looked for another lower high right here, and literally missed the level by $50, right? Like, very rarely are you going to tap it exactly to the dollar. It's cool when it happens, but it doesn't always happen, right? But beautiful, two beautiful lower highs that you could have shorted that we talked about on the live stream and gave the logic behind the trades on the free live stream. So hopefully you guys found that, insightful, and hopefully you guys are kind of seeing like, oh yeah, we were looking at that last week. And I don't want to get it twisted. I'm not up here saying like, hey, look at this, I'm always right. I'm 100. Not at all, guys. That is not how I work this channel. The reason I bring this up is to teach you, right? And repetition is the father of all learning. Shout out to Lil Wayne. I don't think he invented that, but he was the first person I ever heard say that. But it is true. Right? That's why I repeat these things. That's why I go back I start almost every live stream with like, let's go back and figure out how we wound up here. And people are probably sitting there itching like, okay, cool, dude, but where's Bitcoin going right now? And I know that it's hard to not itch for that information, and obviously we give it every single day here, not only on the live stream, but in the pre-recorded market updates and all that good stuff. But it's really important to go back and look at this stuff because the way you're going to catch that next short is by understanding how we caught these shorts, right? So I like to give insight into what I actually do here, right? So shout out to the CandleMafia. Shout out to everybody in here. Oh, baby, we got 934 people in here, guys. The market comes back to life. Bitcoin moves, gets a little bit of a dump, and everybody comes back. I absolutely love it. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you guys found that insightful. And hopefully anybody that saw the streams from last week is starting to connect these dots and just kind of understand how the market moves, right? So, yeah, shout out to anybody who's learning here. Hodl Crypto, what is going on? Says, smash that like button. Crypto Poyo in the chat, what is going on? Bitcoin Chicken, thank you for being here, man. I miss you, brother. But guys, that is how we wound up here, and again, I don't want anyone to ever think I'm up here bragging because it's just simply not the case, guys. This totally could have not played out, and I'm the first person to tell you that, right? It's not like when we come back up, like it's not always going to play out. I just want everyone to understand that, but these played out perfectly, which is why I say the last 2 weeks have been the perfect environment or perfect time to be watching these live streams to actually see these things play out like when they do play out perfectly. So there you go. Now that you guys have a little bit of education and I gave you a little bit of that sauce on how to expect these moves in the future, let's go ahead and talk about where we are likely headed in the future. So let's get into it. I know this is like really why everybody's like tuned in. They're like, oh my God, Bitcoin's dumping. What's going to happen? First off, I am not, freaking out. I just want everybody to know that, yet. Right? As of right now, I am not really, I don't think, we're not going to zero or anything like that. The Binance thing is a pretty big deal. But listen, this is likely what they're going to use to drive a lot of regulation, guys. And listen, the regulation, I know the regulation isn't fun. I know the regulation isn't fun, but it is a necessary evil. We have to get regulatory clarity so we could get the real big money in, right? A lot of these big institutions, hedge funds, what have you, retirement funds, whatever you want to think, right? Any of these things have an obligation to their clients and cannot invest in an unregulated asset class, right? And in order to get these big funds in, right, this big money into crypto, we need to get that regulatory clarity, right? And it's likely when this regulation comes out, hopefully it comes out in the bear market, right? So we can kind of just prep up, right? Get the regulatory clarity. Maybe we get another mega nuke down, potentially to double bottom at 15K, which I want to talk about. If you saw my video over the weekend about, my thoughts on how the rest of this bear market will likely play out, I want to touch on that for a minute, right? Because I don't want anyone thinking that, just because we got this 100% pump that it's off to 100K, because that's not the case, right? And we talk about that in that video a little bit more. But maybe we get that regulatory clarity, right? And maybe it causes a scary flash crash. Maybe that's the black swan, right? Kind of black swan, because we could kind of see it's probably going to come. But I will not be getting, thinking crypto's over. Everybody's going to be like, that's it. The government came in. Crypto's dead. And maybe it changes a lot of things. But don't get it twisted. That could be the thing that shakes out everybody, right? And it could cause a big move to the downside. But overall, I am telling you this, guys. This is not financial advice, but I'm telling you right now, if we get regulatory clarity, and it does seem like every day it's like we get a step closer to it seems like they're trying to get this done. And if we do see that, just understand we will likely see a flash crash. And if we do, just understand that this is only going to be bearish short term. In the long term, it is the most bullish thing that can happen to an asset class. Right? And I know it's a necessary evil. You got the government's hand in things. So I don't want to act like, I'm happy that we're going to get regulated. But it is kind of what we need to get the big money in. So just wanted to point that going nuts. Yeah, guys, shout out to the 946 people in here, guys. I appreciate you guys so much. CryptoLorian1, what is going on? Chat's just freaking out. I don't even really know what happened. Don't let your shorts run away, Frankie. Shout out to John Davis. Sometimes they just fly away in the wind, and I got to, run back covering myself home from the beach. I'm just kidding. Only happened one time. But I just kind of wanted to talk about that. Because I did put that video out on Sunday. I highly recommend you guys go watch it because that's a saucy video. That's, my thoughts on everything, right? But let's talk about where we're going in the medium term, right? So, first off, this is, again, our blue box down here between about 25.3 and about, 25K even would likely be the next major area I am looking for support. This blue box comes down to about 24,350. So this blue box, right, essentially where I get this level from is, number one, you have the highs from back here in February. And then this, the end of this box, right, or the bottom of this box does come in right on our value area high of this more local range that we were trading in from back here. And this would be a decent level to come down and test as well. Now, let's come down. Let's come down to some of the lower time frames. Now, a short term, right? Very short term, or not very short term, but in the next day or so, right? It wouldn't be impossible to get some kind of a bounce to come in here, right? You got your 4-hour VWAP coming back up. You have your 3-hour VWAP coming back up. And then your 2-hour, obviously, coming up, green dot printing on the 2-hour. So, again, not impossible to get some kind of a bounce in here. But, again, I want to hammer home a point here. What are we looking for here, right? You got all your VWAPs coming up on the lower time frames. Your 90-minute is printing a green dot. Your 1 hour is printing a green dot. Your 2-hour your 1 hour has a confirmed green dot. Your 2 hours printing a green dot. And then your 3 and your 4 hour are going to be following very soon. Now, that could cause a move to the upside, right? I don't want to get it twisted. We could get some kind of a bounce to come in here. However, your 4-hour money flow is now crossing into the red. It is, now it's confirmed, right? We are confirmed crossed over into the red. This is more bearish, indicating that the longer-term trend may continue down. But when you have cascading red candles like this, it does not dump forever, right? Even if you're going to continue lower, you got to get some kind of a move to come up before you roll back to the downside. And that is a lot of times where you see those lower highs come in that I was talking about back here and right here where we were looking for shorts. Now, like right here, you came down, right? Money flow came down, then you came back into the green. But right here, guys, we basically spent a decent amount of time in the green here, right? Other than this little fake out dip into the red, we've basically been in the green on the 4-hour for 15 days. It's a decent amount of time to be in the green on the 4-hour. It might be time to spend some time in the red. And the last time we were in the red, we kind of just ranged around, right? So this might be time to kind of hang out down here and get a move down. I'll talk to you guys about kind of what I expect the price action to kind of look like. But overall, money flow crossover into the red. This has historically always been somewhat of a bearish case, right? Like money flow crossover right here. Now, when we dumped down right here, we weren't thinking that was the end of the dump just because we had the VWAP coming up, right? Which we didn't wind up printing a green dot there. You actually got rejected. But, you know, even right here, you get the move to the downside, right? And then right here, you print a green dot. I wasn't looking for a long to the moon here. I would have looked to short a lower high here as well because money flow is in the red. So that short-term green dot is likely going to give us a move up even though we continue down, right? So kind of the same situation here. We just crossed over into the red. And you guys can go back test this on Market Cipher. Money flow crossover into the red, downtrend continues. Money flow crossover into the red, even though we got a pump here and a pump here, the trend continued to the downside, right? So this is kind of how I'm looking at this. So we are just starting to cross into the red. So eventually that VWAP's going to come up and give us a bounce. But what am I going to be doing? I mean, I will be looking for scalp longs, but I don't recommend you look to scalp every single move unless you really know what you're doing or if you're in the premium Discord. Again, like what I would do here if I was an inexperienced trader is the trend is your friend and the trend is down right now. So if you are looking for trades and you did not, and you missed your short entry that we talked about up here and up here, I don't know if we talked about this one before it happened. I got in here. But if you missed any of these short positions on any of these highs, what I would be doing is sitting on my hands and waiting for a bounce to the upside to potentially put in another lower high, right? High, lower high, lower high, lower high. Right? I would wait for price to bounce because I know once that VWAP crosses over and you get the green dot on the 4-hour, it's likely going to give you some kind of a move up, but I would look for a lower high to come in. And again, that is based off money flow. Now, I will also be looking at the higher time frames, the daily, the 2-day. These are very strong time frames, right? So if the money flow is still coming out on the 2-day, I'd feel really confident shorting lower highs, especially on that 4-hour pump, and if the money flow is still on the red, in the red on the 4-hour, right? So let's see. Thank God for stop losses. Stephen Atwell, I'm happy you said that because that means you use them. And you should always use protection, guys. Let's see. Thank you, Frankie. Caught a nice sell order from the $27,000 level. Shout out to Third Eye Investments. Let's go. I mean, it seems like you're saying I might have helped with that, but I think it was mostly your third eye, my man. But shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for being here. Double bottom makes a lot of sense. I hope it doesn't happen, but it will shake everyone out. Absolutely. Imagine the prices they would call if we've revisited 15K, guys. They get down to 15K. Everyone would be calling for $700 Bitcoin. And then they'd likely not get it, right? 700 is pretty low. But that's how I'm treating the local price action. We have approached pretty strong support here. We didn't quite come down and tap it, but basically what I'm looking at right now is for a potential, once that green dot prints on the 4-hour, I would expect a short-term move to the upside, but I wouldn't be looking for a long to the moon just because of the way money flow looks. Now, let's talk about kind of where those, this is just kind of the basics of TA. Pulling fibs, right? This is going to be pulling your fib 101. I'm going to have to stand up. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, shouldn't have made that joke. Anyway, but where would I expect these lower highs to come in? Well, first off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hide this fib real quick. If you can't pull your fib, guys, just hide it. But really what I would look for here is we've lost this range, right? And if we come back up, right, and we get that short-term bounce, what I would look for is a potential retest. I don't even know if we'll come up this high, to be honest with you. But if we did, I would look for a potential retest of the value area low of our previous range, right? It's the value area low of our local range, and it's also the value area low of our macro range. I'll actually draw them as a little bit of a box here. This would be, if we made it up somehow, I don't know if we're going to get that big of a move up, but if we did, if we got a big bounce here, and we got to move up to that previous value area low, this is sometimes a place where price likes to go bearishly retest before continuing back down. So this would be somewhat of a level for me to be looking for shorts on this potential bearish retest, but it's not like I'm just waiting for price to come up here and then automatically shorting, right? Like you need to get the confirmations. You need to be following a strategy, which is something we do more in the premium Discord where I give the actual confirmations, the actual trade setups, but basically, you're just looking for areas of resistance, and we know that when you lose a value area, right, just looking at the market in terms of ranges, right now, we have a range here, right? I'll just circle this, right, just roughly. You have your value area here. This is an area of balance where price has found equilibrium, right? Now we have lost that range. If we don't, and it doesn't look like we didn't get a very fast bounce back into the range, right? So if we are indeed losing this decisively. I mean, this is a level, this blue box is a level we've been watching forever, but if we continue down here, guys, the next real key level or the doorway to lower prices for me would be the value area high of this range, closer to about, I would call it 24,500. If we break decisively below 24,500 right here, if we get stuck below this level, because it's the value area of this, value area high of this range, we can expect, if we get accepted back into the range and we can't get back above that value area high, we have to expect to potentially come a little bit lower and potentially down to the lows of that actual range, coming in at about $22,300. Now, this is also eerily close to some of our technical targets of our head and shoulders, right? We talked about this head and shoulders for a long time. Is this the... yeah, I'll just kind of draw it here, right? Let me get rid of this box. Obviously, we have this head and shoulders up here. You have your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder, right? And then your neckline was coming up just like this, which again, as we came up and tested this level, not only did we test local fib levels where we're likely to put in the lower highs, not only were we testing the current, at the time, point of control of that range, but we also were basically bearishly retesting the neckline of that head and shoulders. And I'm not really necessarily calling for this to come in, but it is worth noting that the technical breakdown of that head and shoulders is actually sitting closer to about $23,000, right? $23,000 even. Now, and let me see if I can pull this up, just so you guys can kind of see a, let's see, head and shoulders, right? There it is. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, technical breakdown target of about 23K, right? So this is not out of the question, right? Not necessarily out of the question, but again, I'm not necessarily calling for this to happen right away. I would have to see some more, I would have to see certain things happen to actually expect that to come in, but we have to be looking ahead, and I just want to point that out. Like, it's not completely out of the question, and yeah, that could be kind of where we're headed. But again, we have this blue box, which should be very strong support. And I wouldn't expect that measured move of the head and shoulders to play out to 23K until kind of the thing that would make me think like, okay, looks like this is probably going to play out in full would be the loss of that previous value area high from this range. From this range, coming in at, again, 24,400, 24,500. It's really going to depend on where you're pulling your range from. Are you incorporating these candles? It's going to vary slightly based off the exchange you're looking at as well. But essentially, that is what I'm looking at. If we lose that value area high, it's, in my opinion, going to be likely to come down to that 23K level to play out that head and shoulders in full. But it doesn't mean it's definitely coming. So I don't want anyone thinking like, I'm not saying like 23K is 100% incoming at all, right? We have this big level that we can still hold. And if we do hold above this level, guys, it could be very bullish, and specifically the level that I'm looking for. So in the short term, let me break it down real quick. Before we go on to, before I go ahead and comment on my video that I posted on Sunday, which, by the way, shout out to everybody that watched that video, that hit that like button, guys. You guys showed so much love on that bull run video. It's like our best performing video all month. It's like creeping up the ranks of one of our best top performing videos ever made on the channel, right? So shout out to you guys for showing love on that. But I want to talk about that video, right? Because yeah, I want to talk about that video, but before we do that, because that's a little more macro, I want to talk about and make sure everybody has somewhat of an idea of what I personally think we're likely to see here in the short term, right? And again, I want to hammer home, we're not right 100% of the time. Obviously, we nailed it for a while, right? And we do nail it way more than we don't. But I don't want anyone thinking like we've had a really good 2 weeks where like the market is literally just hitting every single level and it's playing out exactly how we think. And, you know, it's not going to be like that 100% of the time. It's like that most of the time. But I don't want anyone to get it twisted. I'm not some kind of magical wizard and I know something that no one else knows or anything like that. I want to keep it realistic, right? Like TA is a game of probabilities. It could look super bearish and it could look like we're definitely going to 23K and then it might not play out, right? And that's just the name of the game, right? That's why you use stop losses and always use protection. Shout out to Stephen Atwell. But taking a look here, I just want to let you guys know, in the short term, what I would look for a potential bounce to the upside would be, I wouldn't look for a significant move to the upside until we get that 4-hour green dot. And again, not looking for the moonshot, looking for a lackluster move to put in a lower high and return to the downside. Now, not only could you look at the value area low, but you can also look at local Fibonacci retracement levels. So you could pull it from this high to your low. You could pull it from this high to your low. And there's no guarantee of which fib you're going to come up and hit, but having those rejection levels set on your chart, yeah, Deathburger said we're right 90% of the time. I don't know. I like to think that that's a high hit rate. I mean, I like to think that that's our hit rate. I don't really necessarily know the exact number, but it is definitely, we are right more than we are wrong for sure. But wait, hold up. Hater, not H-A-T-E-R, H-A-I-D-E-R, hater, says, yeah, you are an insider mafia, and actually that wasn't even the one I wanted to read, but someone said, oh yeah, Frankie is the market maker. Mods, can we hide those chats? Guys, don't blow it up online. Come on. I'm not the one that dumped Bitcoin, I swear. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just joking. I would need some seriously big money to be dumping, to be making a dump this big. I would have to eat a lot of Taco Bell. Let's see. Shout out to Creighton, says you've been killing it, Frank. I appreciate you, Creighton. I really do, man. But in the short term, right? Again, looking for that lackluster move. You can look at your fib retracement levels. But again, you know, there's no guarantee if it's going to, right? Let me just, for example, pull these fibs, right? If you pull it from this high to your low, that puts your Fibonacci retracement level right here at about 27.3, right? That's where your golden pocket is. It's also very close to the value area high of this local range, right? So you have confluence there, but you might not make it up that high. So I would look at another one, right? Maybe you pull it from a lower high, right? Maybe not this high. Maybe you pull it from this high or this high or this high. Now you have beautiful confluence with your golden pocket and now your value area low, right? So that kind of gives you confirmation that value area low might be a likely place for price to put in a lower high. Now, but you can't know for sure if you're going to come up and potentially reject here, or come up and reject the 786, or come up and reject this level. But by having these levels on your chart that you know price is likely to make a lower high at, what you could do is just sit on your hands, set your trap, which would be your rejection area, your Fibonacci level in this case. You don't have to use the Fibonacci's. You could use something else, right? You could use your Lux Algo Smart Trail, right? I use that a lot of times as well. Oftentimes, it lines up with your golden pocket retracements. It's actually kind of an easy place to find rejection zones without having to pull the fibs. Low key. Shout out to Lux Algo. But, and I'll show you guys an example of that in a second. But think about how advantageous it would be to have not only this level, but know the 786 is there, and then know if price really rips, you might still be looking at this level, right? And then as price approaches these levels, you can look for your confirmations. If you don't get a confirmation here, you don't take the trade. You simply don't take the trade unless you have an entry signal. If you come up here and you don't have a bearish entry signal to go short, you would sit on your hands because you're probably going to rip through the level and either test the 786 or come up to a higher price, right? So you have these levels set, and these are your traps. And when price approaches your trap, you set your aim, right? You start aiming at your price, so to say, and if you can see that confirmation through your scope, that's where you pull the trigger and take the trade. And that's it, guys. That's it. That's the sauce. That's the sauce. That's all we're doing right there. If you guys, yeah, that's it. That's all we're doing. But there you go. Hopefully you guys find that insightful. I really, I love that stuff is played out like this because it's a great learning opportunity. I really want to take advantage of it on today's stream just because it played out perfectly. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at in the short term. I wouldn't be expecting any decent moves up until we get that green dot on the 4-hour. I will also be looking at the lower time frames, such as the 24-minute and the 15-minute and the 10-minute, 12-minute, watching for money flow to cruise to the upside, right? You can already see, right? Money flow on the let's go to the 10-minute, right? 10-minute starting to round up with the money flow. Momentum starting to come up as well, right? Doesn't mean we're going to 100K. Calm down, everybody. Doesn't mean we're going to 100K. But now let's look at the 12-minute. 12-minute starting to curve up here. That doesn't mean we're instantly going up, right? But you can see that the 12-minute money flow is starting to cruise to the upside. 15-minute is barely coming up, but it looks like it's following suit to the lower time frames. I would have a hypothesis that if around the time when this 10, 12, 15-minute money flow starts to get close to that zero line and looks for a crossover into the green, we may be printing that green dot on the 4-hour around the same time. And if we do, I would definitely expect some kind of a bounce. But again, not looking for the moonshot, sitting on your hands and looking for to short those lower highs. Again, because of the way the money flow looks. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. So, guys, that is what I'm thinking about Bitcoin. Or that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin in the short term. That's what I would expect. Some kind of short-term bounce to come in here very soon because you got the VWAPs rolling up. We have come down to some kind of support down here. I would have loved to come a little deeper into this blue box. However, we could get a bounce here, and I would definitely be looking at those levels for some lower highs. Now, if I bring up our spider line chart, you can see you have a little bit more confluence, right? Like we're just looking at this. If I was not looking at, if we get a bounce here, look at your spider line coming in almost perfect confluence with your value area low. And then look at your other spider line coming in perfect confluence with your other value area low. So this is definitely an area of heavy resistance, right? Or it will be heavy resistance as we come and approach it, right? So just know that, right? So those are the levels I'm kind of looking at, and that's what I'm expecting more in the short term. And shout out to this chart that we've had forever. This is kind of showing the technical breakdown targets of that Head and Shoulders, right? If it does wind up playing, this one is the technical target of the Head and Shoulders down to about $23,000. And then this was the technical target of more of a bear flag that we were looking at, because as you guys know, not only did we have that Head and Shoulders pattern, but we were also looking at this as a potential more of a bear flag, right? You come down, kind of bearishly consolidate, and we were looking at this as some kind of a bearish flag, right? So it depends on how you want to draw it. You could draw it all the way to the low here, or you could kind of close it at the wicks. However you want to draw it, but, this was looking kind of bear flaggy, and then the technical breakdown of that bear flag is just a little bit higher up here at 23,670. So that is basically what we are looking at on Bitcoin, guys, for the most part in the short term. Shout out to everybody watching the streams last week. We got 1,000 people in here. Bing bong! Shout out to everybody in here. I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like button. If we hit 1,000 likes on tonight's stream, I'll give away another free month of the premium Discord to one Candle Mafia member. But shout out to everybody in here. I appreciate you guys. But there you go, guys. That's what I'm feeling about Bitcoin. And again, shout out to anybody last week that was watching all of this play out. And I really hope that if you guys were to put on a chart how much you've learned from each live stream, the past week of live streams would be heavily, very, very high on that chart, because it's just played out perfectly. And just shout out to everybody who's watched this. And I really, really hope you guys are learning something. So with that being said, guys, I want to talk a little bit about my video from Sunday, which was basically giving my more macro analysis and why I think Bitcoin is looking very, very bullish. And we kind of zoomed out and looked at where we sit in the cycle and kind of how we expect things to play out, over the rest of the bear market. And I think this is another big thing a lot of people are interested in, because everybody wants to know, how much longer do we have to wait to make millions of dollars? How much longer do I have to accumulate my favorite altcoin? Now, all the altcoins might go to zero because they're all securities according to the SEC, or their definition of a security. In my opinion, I feel like every altcoin is essentially, unless it has a fair launch, it's basically a security. Now, that doesn't mean that every altcoin is actually going to zero. I don't know how that will wind up playing out, but if you go by what I just said, almost all altcoins I've heard of are basically technically securities according to the SEC's guidelines, right? But it's not financial advice. I'm not saying everything's going to zero by any means, but it's just complete clownery. But anyway, we basically looked at where we were in the 4-year cycle. We took a look at my cycle chart, and I kind of looked at what I think the bear market would likely look like, for the rest of the bear market, right? And I'm really quickly going to pull up that cycle chart because I just want to touch on this a little bit, and then we'll get right into the altcoins. But let me pull up that cycle chart really quickly because, guys, let's talk about it. Now, there it is. Oh, baby. I thought that chart got deleted, and I was like, please, for the love of God, no, don't let that happen to me. But here we are, guys. Let me hide the indicators, And I'm not going to go through everything I talked about, but I do just kind of want to talk about what I'm looking for, right? And like what I'm expecting to happen over the next year or so, right? So let's pull up the 200-week moving average, because as you guys know, it's a very, very important level of support that can kind of give us context into our macro sentiment, right? If you're above the 200-week moving average, typically it's very bullish, right? And when you break above it, break below it, obviously after that bearish retest, it could be very bearish. Now, with that being said, I do just kind of want to talk about this, right? So we just checked in on the cycle. We talked about a lot of numbers that match up very, very closely. Are we on the weekly? We are, right? So from the halving to the bottom of the cycle, the bottom of the bear market here took about 777 days. From the cycle, from the halving to the cycle bottom in 2018 took about 882 days. Very similar numbers, almost exactly 100 days apart. And in this cycle, from the halving to the bottom, if 15,000 was the bottom, or 15,500 was the bottom, about 930 days, give or take. We're on the weekly chart here. Very similar, right? Not exactly the same, but history doesn't always repeat itself, but it oftentimes rhymes, right? Now, with that being said, in my opinion, enough time has gone by since the start of the halving for a full bull market and a full bear market to have played out, which would essentially put us in the accumulation zone. Now, it looks very similar to 2017 and 2018, the bull market, the 2017 bull market, 2018 bear market, where we peaked out, we came into the bottom of the bear market, we got a relief rally finally here. We got little relief rallies along the way in 2017, not as much in this cycle, but we came to the bottom of the bear market, right? We got that 50% capitulation. Boom, we came up, tested the macro golden pocket, came up about 350%, and then at the peak of this pump, that's basically where your accumulation zone started, where you kind of just bing-banged around before getting your Black Swan event in March of 2020. You all know what was going on there, or at least if you don't know what happened in March 2020, I don't know what's going on then, but you did get this area where we kind of just, things were kind of lackluster, and then we got the Black Swan. But for the most part, you basically just kind of sat sideways for, I want to say, the better part of a year, right? 189 days and then obviously March 2020 was very eventful. But then right before the halving, you came right back up to the highs of the range here. 273 days, right? Like almost a year of just that boring kind of accumulation phase before the actual parabolic bull run. Very, very similar to what's going on here. But I do want to point this out. The main thing I'm looking at right now, guys, is that 200-week moving average. And I talk about this in the video. We could lose we are losing this 200-week moving average, which is technically bearish. But we still have 6 days to get a pump back up above that 200-week moving average. And even if we come lower, what I don't want to see here, I'm not really that concerned just yet on the 200-week moving average. And the reason for that is we got 6 days to close the candle, right? So even if we push down even lower, maybe we come down, test 25.3, maybe we test 25K, maybe we test lower. But if we can get a very quick move back to the upside and close our candles above that 200-week moving average, that could turn from a very bearish week to an insanely bullish week, because that would wind up turning this into a massive bullish hammer candle, similar to what we saw right here, where we printed the candle, got an absolute nuke, and then snapped right back up, giving us that bullish hammer candle, which is a reversal candle, to the upside, which wound up giving us this Lambo candle all the way back up to about 28.3. Now, if we measure this wick, I'm going to measure this wick from the bottom of the candle to the bottom of the wick. About 11%, 11.5%. I haven't done this yet, so this isn't like, there's no like aha moment at the end of this, but I'm just curious. Let's see if we went from the, I guess it's hard to do it. We'll just go from the break of the 200-week, 11%. Where's that bring us? $23,362. That was one of the levels we just looked at, right? Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen exactly as it did before, but we have to be ready, right? Like, we could easily see a rip below that 200-week moving average, and then we could close back above it, get one of these bullish hammer candles, and that could be the thing that we need to get our next big move up. Next major level I'd be looking at is about $33,000 if we do take out these highs. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand that, I talk about it in the video, but the rest of this bear market, I would expect, guys, it does seem like we could potentially be entering that boring accumulation phase, which obviously in 2018, I'll bring it back right here, we got a big move down. But just before coming almost back up to those same prices, and then obviously this is an exception with the Black Swan event, but let's just say you didn't get that capitulation down on the Black Swan. You probably would have came down to support and then back up to the range, and it would have more or less just been a sideways accumulation area, right? Now, we see something like that play out. We could wind up getting, even if we get weekly candle closes down here, it would take the option of getting that shot up to 48 to 50K, right? That's the most bullish projection for some kind of a bear market rally, in my opinion. Right here in 2019, we came up 350%. If we got to rip up to our macro golden pocket, which I'm not going to spend time drawing right now, I'll do it. I'll just do it for the sake of the stream, right? From the high to the bottom of the bear market, all right, it's sloppily drawn, but here it is. Between about 48 and 50K, I would just call it 50K, right? Between 48 and 50K, if we got to move all the way up to the macro golden pocket, which is exactly what we got here for 350% gain, if we got to move up to this macro golden pocket, I think it's only like a 200 and something percent gain. So it's not out of the question, right? From the bottom. Yeah, it's about 200%. Right, so that's not out of the question. But if we close weekly candles below that 200-week moving average, I would, I say the 200-week moving average is the line in the sand for me to flip more bearish in the long term, and that's what I mean. If we lose that 200-week moving average, I think it takes the option of coming up to that 50. I don't think we get that 50K pump if we lose that 200-week moving average with multiple weekly candle closes below the 200-week. Right, if that happens. If we come down here on the weekly and close multiple weekly candles down here, I don't think you get that shot up to the local macro golden pocket like we've gotten in the past. But if you get something like this, let me move it. Whoops. If you get something like this, where we get a massive move down and then we end that week with a bullish hammer candle closing above the 200-week, that's going to be the thing, right? If we do get a bigger move down and at the end of at the candle close next week on Sunday, I'm going to be looking at that 200-week, and if we're anywhere near that, I'm going to be watching that like a hawk, because if we get a close above that, it would be mega bullish and would open up the door, right, and keep on the table the chance to shoot up to some of these higher targets. But again, if we close multiple weeklies under here, that's where I flip more bearish. I want to be very clear about that for you guys, right? Because I don't want to, I'm sure a lot of people probably see that, I know a lot of people probably see that, the thumbnail, right? Believe it or not, guys, a lot of people just look at the thumbnail and don't watch the videos, which is not a good way to invest. But, I think the title was like, the bull run starts on this date, right? And I just want to show here, this is an estimation of when the next halving will happen at the end of April, very close to my birthday. I think the actual date's the 26th, but I couldn't get the 26th to come in on the weekly chart just because the way the charts work. But at the end of April is likely when we will see that next halving come in. And until then, which puts us about 322 days away from the halving. So if we do wind up, when the next halving comes, for the remainder of the bear market, right? This is kind of the moment of truth. If we could stay above the 200-week, I think we could potentially get that rip up to some of these higher targets between about 33 and 50K. I know it's a big range, but just bear with me. I think we could get that big rip up. Now, if we don't get that, if we get candle closes on the weekly below that 200-week, I think that's where we may just kind of range around until we finally, and it would likely not be this clean, just understand that. But we'll more or less not really do anything too exciting. I mean, plenty of money to be made on these moves, right, as a trader. But I think we could be in that accumulation phase, approaching the next halving. And then even after the halving, guys, it's not like the day after the halving price just rips to the upside. It's not how it works. But, you could kind of see, just looking back in time, right, like what happened. We had the halving. We went sideways for, another like 63 days, another 2 months of sideways boring action before we got to rip up, and everyone was probably saying, oh my God, 100K, 100K. Then we got back down, and then the parabolic bull run started. So, we still got to get through all of this, right? And the two main likely scenarios, again, based off the 200-weekly moving average with those weekly candle closes, depending on that whole thing I just explained, will likely let us know if we're going to see something like this. Right? Let me draw out the two scenarios I see happening. Are we going to see something happen like this where we close the candles up here, get a rip up towards some of these higher prices? Not saying these are the exact targets, but I'm just saying, are we going to get another leg up here before getting a bigger move down, potentially coming back down to revisit the lows, maybe that's 786 before kind of ranging around, then the halving happens, and then we get something like that? Or are we going to come down from here and kind of just range around like this, right? Maybe we come down to do that. Either way, those are kind of the two scenarios that I see happening, right? It's either you get the rip up to these levels, and then it's basically boring after that, or the boring area starts now. And again, it's not going to feel boring, because if we get to move all the way back down to the lows, that's going to feel like the world is ending and everyone's going to be calling for 3K. Which, I'll be honest, guys, if I'm speaking with my emotions, I would love for 3K to come in. I just don't know if it's likely. So that's kind of really what I expect out of the next bear markets, guys. And I just kind of wanted to give you, if you have not seen that video that we put out on Sunday, it's going to be a new series we're doing, Sunday Sauce. We're going to do that, try to do that every Sunday. Definitely highly recommend you guys go watch that. It's very insightful, and I show you guys the 5 reasons why, as long as we hold this 200-week moving average, or even if we don't, why I think this bear market is wrapping up, and top 5 reasons why, we're having a lot of big signals that are saying the bottom is likely in, and we're probably going to enter something like an accumulation zone before ripping into the next bull market. So there you guys go. I just wanted to kind of break that down more on the macro, right? I just don't want anyone thinking that if we break this 200-week moving average, that video I put out on Sunday is null and void. It's not. Because if we lose that 200-week, essentially, again, we have to have that boring phase, potentially. We don't have to. But that's basically, go watch the video. I highly suggest it, guys. It's a really good one. I'm not going to lie. Out of all the videos I've made for this channel, hundreds of videos, it's like, I'm like pretty proud of that one. Even if we wind up being completely wrong and we go down to 3K, there's a lot of value in that video. It's a little bit long, but there's a lot of value. So go check it out. 3K confirmed. Shout out to Crypto Cowboy. 15K, I will swim in Bitcoin longs. Me too, right? And remember, comparing it to the previous cycles, which doesn't mean just because it happened in this cycle. I don't want to come off like just because it happened here, it has to happen in this cycle. It's not the case. But again, in that video, you'll see how closely related these cycles are, and you'll see that we're getting a lot of the same signals that we usually get on all the other bear markets when the bottom was in and we were ready to accumulate and then eventually wait for the halving before the bull run. A lot of those same signals are happening almost exactly as they have in the past, right? And again, not guaranteed that just because it happened back then, it has to happen now, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Likely the 4-year cycle will break, I think, at some point, right? At some point, the cycle's going to break, things are going to change, but as of right now, it has played out almost perfectly, and we're setting up to potentially do the same exact thing. Not financial advice, guys. You have to do your own research and make your own decisions. But with that being said, also, oh God, I lost my train of thought. What were we going to look at? The double bottom, right? Again, we got basically the double bottom in 2018, right? Or 2019, technically. Or 2020, I'm sorry. You put the bottom in, you get the relief rally, you bing bong around, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, capitulation for the double bottom, right? Now, you didn't come all the way to the lows, but, you came all the way down to essentially double bottom, right? Giving you a second chance to get in on the bull run, and then bang. So they tried to scare everybody out last minute, and then it rips. I mean, that's like just That's just like clockwork. That's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, to be expected, right? Everybody gets through the bear market. Oh my God, we're pumping. And then, as soon as this happens, everyone's like, it's going to zero. And then bing, right up to the bull market, right? Like this. Oh God, there are a lot of people who became millionaires at this wick, but there's also a lot of people that sold, more people that sold the exact bottom before missing out on life-changing gains. Do not be the retail, guys. It's very hard. We are retail. I am retail, right? Like unless you're a big institution, you're retail. So don't, but that does not mean that you cannot, you can think like the institutions. Just because you have little money does not mean that you have to trade like little money. It's all about changing your mindset, right? So anyway, that's your double bottom, so that's kind of, again, if you see that, kind of capitulation, maybe it's the regulatory capitulation, maybe it's a Coinbase black swan, maybe it's, there's a lot of weird geopolitical things going on right now, maybe it's a geopolitical black swan, brings you back down to the lows, potentially, right? So I actually saw a new indicator we're gonna have a meeting with these people. They have some really cool tools, and I don't know what it is. I just saw it on the list of things. They have like a black swan warning indicator, which I love to know what goes into calculating that. But yeah, if I find it interesting, you guys bet I'm going to bring it to your attention. But there you go, guys. That is, again, why I would potentially, again, we've double bottomed before. And yeah, I mean, even here, I guess this is kind of a triple bottom. You got a low, 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 bang, right? So yeah, I would look for something like that, right? Potentially on that black swan, right? Everyone's going to get scared. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Don't sell the bottom. Don't sell the bottom. That's why you want to differentiate your long-term trading with your short-term trading, right? My long-term bags, guys, any Bitcoin that I accumulated in this area, right? Any Bitcoin I started accumulating here, any Bitcoin I've accumulated here, I will not be selling if we revisit the lows. I am not selling that Bitcoin. Now, long trades, right, like my scalps and my swing trades, right, like maybe I manage that risk a little bit differently. But for my long-term bags, if we come all the way back down to the lows, I'm not panic selling, guys. I'm just waiting to come back down here, even if we went lower, down to the 12 and 14. Maybe we do make a lower low, right? There's a lot of smart people calling for lower lows, guys. I don't want to get it twisted. That is definitely still in the cards. But in my opinion, my personal opinion is the bottom is very likely in. And again, you guys just saw, I think this bear market's probably wrapping up in the next, little less than a year, right? So, but there are a lot of smart people calling for lower lows. So don't, it's not impossible to go lower. But maybe we do. Maybe we come down even lower. And if that happens, I'm not selling the Bitcoin that I bought here, right? I am basically just waiting to buy more lower, right? So there you go. Yeah, hopefully that was insightful for you guys. I highly recommend you go watch that video. But now with all that, bet we don't get 15K or even 17K again. I'll be aping everything if we did. Yeah, Hussein, absolutely, bro. Me too. But guys, with all that being said, if you guys want to see your favorite altcoins, go ahead and throw them in chat. Rob the Crypto Snob will go ahead and count up the votes. And when he counts up the votes, he'll let us know what altcoins we're going to look at. I'm going to start off with Ethereum. And we'll also take a look at XRP. And then, Rob, let's look at, let's get, a list of, 4 or 5 alts, and we'll take a decent look at all of those. Yeah, lower lows of bullish divergences. That's definitely a possibility. That's what I was looking at for a bottom to come in, was a bullish divergence on the weekly. I'll probably clip that tutorial, that video that I did probably over a year ago now, what I thought the bottom would look like. And I basically, one of the main things I was looking at was a bullish divergence on the weekly, and we got it. Lower lows, higher lows. And what happened there? That is where the bottom, at the current bottom, came in. Doesn't mean you can't break it. But hey, if we did wind up doing that, you could come down, right? Just for fun, come down, maybe hit this support, put another drive of bullish divergence in, and then you have a massive, even more bullish divergence. And then maybe that's where it's impossible to guess exactly what's going to happen, but now you guys kind of know what my assumption for the rest of the bear market would likely look like. All right, well, with that being said, guys, before we take a look at the alts, definitely go ahead and throw your requests in the chat. Like I said, Rob the Crypto Snob will go ahead and count up the votes and let me know which ones we're looking at. We will definitely, Rob, you don't have to put quant on the list, but I will look at quant. And yeah, shout out to Tony, sent 2 super chats. I actually did. I should have told you I saw them, so you didn't send another one. I did see them. But while we are getting also, can I make it rain? We got new people in here. Hey, if you're new to the Candle Mafia, Tony D's about to rain some memberships. Go ahead and drop some memberships on them, Tony. Drop it on them. Bing bong. Let's go. Bing bong. Let's go. I swear I throw this money in the air and it all falls off camera. We got to get it. We want it to rain. Rain on me. Rain on me. Here we go. It's going to rain this time. 3 bills. How is this possible? Oh, God. This is going to be so annoying to clean up. Okay. Let's go. Bing bong. There it is. Let's go. Oh, God. I'm going to regret that later. But, guys, before we do that, I do want to let you guys know, anybody who is signed up for BingX Anybody who signed up on BingX with my affiliate link, I do just want to let you know, if you're not in the premium Discord, we do have the dining room, which is our freemium Discord, which is basically, it doesn't cost money to get in, but if you are signed up for any of our exchanges with our affiliate link, Femex, BitGet, and we have now just added BingX. So if you trade on BingX with our affiliate link, and that, you made your account with our affiliate link, you can go ahead and come to the dining room and click on BingX, and then enter in your UID right here. Copy and paste your UID that you can find on BingX. Obviously, go into the settings. Find your user ID, paste it in here, hit submit, and then give the mods 1 to 3 days to get you access in here, and you will get access to all of these channels. And a lot of them are pretty cool, guys. We got altcoin gems, which we haven't updated in a while, and the reason for that is these come in when they come in, right? Like, if there's nothing looking bullish, I'm not just going to try to, like, feed you guys coins. Like, hey, this is going to pump. It looks a little bit bull. Like, we want these to hit. So if you see them pop up on here, obviously do your own research. Never financial advice. But that could be, a lot of these have hit pretty hard, right? So, but this is only going to get updated when they actually come in. But we also have the premium TA section where you get one weekly premium TA post from the actual premium Discord. You get one a week. So if you wanted to test out what the premium Discord is like without actually, if you want to try it out before you actually buy it, you can go ahead and get in here for free, test it out. And if it's something you want to you want to take your trading a little bit more seriously, and you're liking what you see, you can go ahead and actually try out the full premium Discord. And then we also have a 24/7 bookmap stream. I'm not going to click on it because I want to join into the stream, and they'll probably hear me screaming. But where you could see 24/7 bookmap stream, so you can see where the liquidity is, all that good stuff if you're a big bookmap guy or gal. And then we also have a 24/7 Lux algo chart, which, hint, hint, is one of those indicators that is giving us a big bullish signal, indicating that the bottom may likely be in, and we may start to accumulate before we start this next bull run. So, guys, let's go ahead and start taking a look at some of these altcoins. I want to go ahead and start off with Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Ethereum is doing. Now, let's dig in here. Now, obviously, guys, and again, shout out to the volume profiles. Guys, I think if I just made a chart with just a volume profile and just played it on my live stream for 2 hours, it wouldn't really work. But essentially, guys, volume profiles are absolutely overpowered. Absolutely overpowered. If I knew about the volume profiles when I first started trading, the amount of money and the amount of time that I would have saved, and the amount of frustration and stress and just frustration that I would have saved myself would have been infinite. Absolutely infinite. And why do I say that? I say it because of this. You come to the value area low. Where do you expect price to go? You expect it to go to the value area high next. But it's likely going to be messy. Something like this. Right? Very messy. But when you hold the low, you expect to come to the high. And in this case, it did take quite a while, specifically 17 days, but it did wind up coming in. Right? And it's not 100% of the time, but it does seem like it's dang near close 90%. But I don't know the actual statistics, so take that with a grain of salt. But you go from the low, you hold the support, right? And you also had, did you have a bull div here? Not quite. But you come to the high. And then what were we talking about when you come to the high? You are likely going to look for a short to potentially revisit the value area low. And it does look like we got a rejection here. Short-term bounce, short-term bounce, short-term bounce. Bang, we are on our way potentially to revisit the value area low of this range. And but first, obviously, you are expecting to make a stop at that point of control. Just like you did down here, hold support on the value area low, right to the POC. Right? I actually almost immediately, right away, straight to jab, right away. If you know, you know. But you get an immediate move to the POC, and then if you flip that POC to support, which you tried to do here, couldn't hold it, lost it, but right there, you broke up, held it as support. That's likely where the value area high comes in. This is where you're looking for shorts, right? Bing, bong. You get a move down. You don't FOMO into, I mean, I wish I knew what we were talking about. This was, this is likely, when was this? This was on Thursday. Where's Friday? Yeah, this is likely I don't want to say 100%, but this is likely where we were looking for our lower high to come in on Bitcoin, right, at our local value area high, which was, come on, right here. We were expecting to come up, right, to test that value area high before shorting the lower high and making another move to the downside. This is likely what we were looking at on Ethereum, saying that that lower high may locally come in on this golden pocket retracement. That's what these purple boxes typically are for me. They're retracement levels or a rejection zone. We came right up to the golden pocket, and bang, we got our move down to the POC, and we have now lost the POC and could potentially be on our way down to the value area low. I would look for a potential local bounce off of the 786 as our 4-hour VWAP rolls up. Our 2 hours likely printing a green dot. There it is. But our money flow is crossed over into the red on the 2 hour and the 4 hour and the 3 hour. So if we do get that bounce off the 786, I would look for a lackluster bounce to put in a lower high and make another move to the downside, just like we were looking on everything else. And this is likely, where is this pulled to? I don't know where that is. It was probably pulled on a lower time frame. But again, just kind of looking at our range here, right? Like, we've already rejected the value area high. Boom, rejected the lower high, which is the likely the local golden pocket right here, right? And now we have lost our POC, so we are expecting eventually to get a move back down to the value area low. But short term, I would look for that bounce off that 2 hour green dot and the 4 hour green dot. But again, the money flow. 4 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. Coming into the red, definitely looking like we could get a bounce and then a bearish continuation. And then you could start pulling your fibs, right? I like to look at the 4 hour, right? So maybe you pull your fib. Maybe you pull it from this high all the way to the low. So maybe if we get a bounce, you may want to look for some potential rejections at your local golden pocket retracement. Maybe you don't want to look at this one, right? Again, like, where you pull these fibs from is going to depend on so many things, right? Maybe you pull it from this this massive dump here, right? Maybe you pull it from this wick. I would rather pull it from this wick, but, there's no guarantees you come up that high. But if you're looking at this retracement, let's see if we can get any confluence. And I can already see some confluence coming in here if you pull a visible range, or I'm sorry, a fixed range volume profile on this sideways range that we had here. Let me go ahead and unextend it. There we go. And, oh God, was this the one we pulled? Yes. Okay. So, I'll be honest with you. I thought our value area low was going to be at these lows, which would have been a perfect confluence. But if we extend this, I think if you probably extend this to the current price action, come on. What are you breaking the salami for? Okay, there we go. There you go, right? So if you bring your current range, right? I was originally pulling the range just off of before the dump. But if you include the dump here, which would be valid, right? Your value area low comes right in on that golden pocket, right? So you do have confluence there. So you could potentially be looking at some rejections in that area, right? Potentially. Because you like to come up and make lower highs at those golden pocket retracements. It would make sense to come test the value area low of the range. So if we do get a bounce, off of the 786 here, and it's a big one, again, I don't know if you're going to get this big of a bounce. You might not. I'll be honest, it kind of looks like an ambitious bounce. I'll be honest. I don't know if you're going to come up this high. But if you did, you could look for a potential move into these levels before potentially continuing down to that value area low, which, let me spawn the level, does come in right here at 1750, right? So there you go. Essentially looking at very similar thing as Bitcoin. Again, looking for a short-term bounce, but I would be much more comfortable. You could scalp long it if you do get that move. That'd be a nice scalpable move. However, if you wind up, I would be looking to scalp long it. But if you're not experienced, I would maybe just, the trend is your friend, right? So like the long is going to be more risky than the short, in my opinion, because of the way money flow looks. The trend is down. The money flow is trending out, right? So I'm looking for shorts because that money flow is going to assist the likelihood of those trades playing out in the green for you and me, right? So that's what I would look for. I would just look to short those lower highs rather than look for a massive long. So if you're not experienced, I would probably just sit out on the long because you don't know if you're going to get that big move. But I would just wait for that bounce and then I would wait. Here, I'll just give you guys a little bit of sauce here. I'd wait for that VWAP to come above the 0 line, print the green dot, which is likely when your move to the upside will happen. And then as that VWAP starts to roll over, that's where I'd start looking for some potential bearish confirmations. And that's where I would start to experiment with the fibs and see like, hey, 4-hour VWAP starting to roll over. Money flow still coming out. I think the downtrend's going to continue. I think there's going to be a lower high here. Let me pull my fibs. Let me find some levels and see if this makes sense for a lower high to come in here. And then you look for your confirmations, your trigger to enter into the trade, right? So there you go. Let's see. Oh, God. Dropping the sauce. Shout out to Tanner Time. What is going on, bro? Thank you for being here. Oh, God. And the hoodies. And the dang hoodies. Oh, God. What are you guys talking about? Oh, boy. Fibs are best pulled from pivot highs and lows. Yeah, 4-hour fibs are definitely that's like if I'm pulling a fib looking for like significant lower highs or higher lows or what have you. Now, you can pull a fib on any time frame, right? It all depends on the context of what you're trying to do. However, for stuff like this, I would call medium term. The 4 hours is a very, very strong level, and you would want to pull them for your pivot highs. Depending on if you're looking for support or resistance. Yeah, the 4 hour is probably my favorite time frame. It's a perfect mix of short term and long term. You don't have to wait weeks for something to play out, but you don't have to be like staring with your eyes bleeding at the screen like if you're scalping the 5 minute, right? So there you go. Mrs. Candles, what you doing? Hey, Mrs. Candles in chat? Question mark. All right, let's see. Hey, Bailey Armstrong in the chat. Let's go. Shout out to Bailey. What's going on, bro? Let's see. Yeah, the bounce could also create bear divs. That is another big thing that you can look for. You could look for, that local bounce, right, on the 4 hour, and then you can come down to the lower time frames and see if you're creating bear divs, or there's a million different signals to actually get into the trade. But yeah, good for shout out to Creighton C for saying that. Yeah, you can look for bearish divergences. Let's see. Darren says, Steven, I was once a fib trader, just something I learned. Yeah. Shout out to Darren. Let's see. Everyone's screaming 45K. When I was screaming, or when I was selling 30K, yeah, shout out to Make Money. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just like right now, everyone's probably calling for, lower lows to come in just because you get a dump. That is actually crazy how emotional people are. This is Ethereum, obviously, but, as soon as you get some kind of a move, right, a dump, oh, my God, these are the lower lows. I knew it. And it's like, guys, like zoom out. Zoom out, guys. Please, for the love of God. Zoom out. What is this? Get out of here. I don't want to be signed into this. But yeah, here, I'll just hide the TA here. Right? Like, you get a dump down and people are like, oh my God, lower lows are incoming. Like, zoom out. Zoom out. We are still up. Right? We are still up 67% from the lows. Right? Like, this is a very non-significant dump, especially for the news. Right? That's kind of bullish. But again, it's not about being right. It's not about knowing if you were going to rip past 30K or knowing if you're going to dump to lower lows. It's not about that. It's about analyzing the price action, trying to, for me, right, figuring out, that's why you got to separate, like I said at the beginning of the stream, you got to separate your short-term trading from your long-term trading, right? When I'm talking about being bullish and bearish in the same day, I'm talking about trading, right? But what we were just talking about before with the cycles was more macro. That's more long-term. That's my long-term trading plan, right? So you just got to separate it. But yeah, let's continue on here. Let's see. Hit the likes, Pete. Let's go. Yeah, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Shout out to Pop E22. They said it, not me. Frankie Candle's time. Oh, wow. Okay. Shout out to Rob. Thank you. Rob, do you want to move to America? Rob, move to America, please. Shout out to Rob. But yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, it's pinned. Okay, let's take a look at XRP, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look. And, yeah, absolute dumpski here. But look at the levels that we're holding here, guys. Look at the levels that we're holding. Let's go ahead and show that TA. That was embarrassing. There is no TA. Not on that chart. Let's go ahead and pull up XRP. Come on, baby. Show us the TA. There it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, I gotta get rid of this. Boom. Okay. So What happened here, guys? What happened? So here we are, right? Big move to the downside, right? But hey, look at where we're holding, right? Remember. Do you remember? Do you remember the 21st of September? Is that how that goes? I don't even know. Do you remember when Bitcoin hit 15K and I didn't put my whole bag in? I'm just kidding. But anyway, you guys will know that we have been looking on XRP at a very specific range here, right? And again, if you're new here, you're gonna see me mention the volume profile many times, and the reason for that is because they are reliable, right? And we found this range from back here between about 49 cents and about 53 cents. And once we came up and got accepted back into this range, which specifically happened right here, right? Come down to the 90-minute. Right here, we came up, we flipped that level to support, and we ripped back up to the highs, and we did see that value area high to come in, right? Price action's messy. You hold the lows. You're likely expecting to come to your POC and then eventually your value area high. However, in this case, you did not tap the value area high. You came very close. Price tickled you and flirted around with you a little bit. It was like, hey, what am I going to dump? Oh, no, I'm not. Haha, should have just trusted the volume profile. We went to the value area high, right? And it really does feel like a game sometimes because, again, when you don't actually touch those key levels, sometimes it is worth it to sit on your hands and wait for them to get tapped because oftentimes they do. It's almost like it was teasing you, right? It's like it's looking at you like, look, I flipped the value area low to support, go long. And, I mean, if you take multiple take profits, it would have been a good trade no matter what because you came right up to the POC as expected and then very close to the value area high. All my take profits in this example for a long, if I was in this long position for anybody who's curious, my take profits here would be, as long as I get my confirmation to go long at the bottom of the range, my first TP is at the POC, and my second TP is at the value area high. However, I do typically set my TPs just below the level for a long, right? I'll go just below that POC in case we front run the level and get rejected before we actually tap it. I want to guarantee those gains. So for the value area high, I'll be honest, I probably would have put it like right here, and I probably would have missed that TP, but you would have held the trade, right? Because you're trusting your TA. You're not sitting here going, oh no, we're coming back down. I'm going to close my trade prematurely. No, you have your level set. You have your take profit set up here. You have your stop loss set, which at this point, once you hit the POC, would probably be at break even. So you already had profit taken out here. And then you're sitting here saying, hey, if I get stopped out, I'm going to make money, right? Because I already pulled profit and I'm at break even with my stop loss. But you would have trusted your TA, and your TA would have been right, and you would have eventually come up, and then bink, you hit your take profit, right? So there you go. Just a perfect example of how, those value areas typically play out almost all the time. But again, it's very sketchy, and we'll try to trick you out of your trade in the meantime before you actually hit your target, right? And then what happens? You come down a little bit. You deviate from your range. You could consider this overbought once you're above that value area high. You try to hold it as support. Try to hold it as support. Boom. You break your value area high. Where are you going? Probably to your POC. And probably to your value area low, which is, basically what happened, right? You didn't really stop at your POC, really, because it was an absolute nuke. But again, like just the rules of the volume profile. Long at the low, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You came to the value area high. Surprise, surprise. And then you deviate from the high. You even put in a bear div here, right? I'm not going to talk about the specific confirmations right now, but this would have been a great, I don't even want to say it would be a great position because I didn't look at any of the other time frames, but you could look for your short confirmations as you deviate from your highs. If you get bearish confirmations, you could try a scalp short. You come down, try to hold the high as support, and then you lose it. Now you're expecting to come back to the low of your range, and look at this. This is actually pretty good in my opinion right now, guys. You broke down, but we're still holding. Look at the levels, guys. The levels are respected. We ripped down, wicked, closed above the value area low, came up, flipped the value area low to support, and now we're expecting potentially to see that point of control come in. If you flip the point of control, you know where price is likely to go next. Well, it's likely to go to the value area high, but it's probably going to do this first and then go to the high, right? It's going to try to trick you, but this is actually not that bad. We slipped the value area, sucked right back in, slipped the value area, sucked right back in, came up, tested it as support. This would be decent sign in the short term for me. I will look at this point of control as our next target for about 51 cents. If you can get above there and everything doesn't continue to nuke, we may be able to get a move back up to the value area high. But don't get it twisted. If Bitcoin gets a little rally, right, and then while XRP is chilling at the point of control, Bitcoin decides to put in a lower high and we start nuking again, you might not see that value area high, right? You might wind up breaking down, and that would be a case where your value area doesn't play out as you expect it to, but that's why you don't just blindly trade the value areas, right? You would be looking at market cipher B. What does your money flow look like, right? Well, money flow is starting to come out on XRP, right? So, maybe we're in a similar situation as Bitcoin where any bounces may be better to short on the short the lower highs, right? So that, again, like just as of right now, guys, I wouldn't really be freaking out too much until we lose that value area low. And the fact that we flipped it back to support, that's pretty nice right there, at least in the short term for a move up to about 51, 52 cents. So there you guys go. Did I say 51 or 52? I meant 51, just 51, not 52. 52 is all the way up here. But again, if you flip that POC, 52 cents could be likely to come in. So there you guys go. Let's see. ETH to 1600 next week, potentially. Shout out to Eric. Let's see. Checking in. What's up, Mafia? Shout out to So Gucci. What is going on, So Gucci? Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. ETH to 1600 next week. I mean, hey, let's go. I'll take it. I will take ETH to 16K. I'm 1600. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue on. There's XRP. Let's take a look at Atom. And we did run a little bit over, guys, so I'm going to try to fly through these. And I might not do all of them, but I think it was important to really cover Bitcoin as we finally got a decent move here. So I really just wanted to focus on Bitcoin a little longer, right? We had a lot to look at. We had a lot of levels. We had a lot of TA to do. So I just did want to focus on that a little bit more. But, oh, God, this TA's got to be so old. I love looking at old TA. It's so funny. All the lines are weird. But let's go ahead. I'll just clear all the drawings, and we'll start fresh here. Come up to the daily. I'm going to go ahead and hide market cipher A and take a little bit of a deeper look here. Now, for Cosmos, I do like Cosmos, guys. I will say I am bullish on Cosmos as a project. I did well with Cosmos in the last bull run. Shout out to Ben. Actually, shout out to Ben, BitBoy Crypto. I'll never forget this. I watched a video on Cosmos from Ben, and he was talking about Cosmos, and it got me interested in the project. And key advice here. He said it's super bullish. I don't remember the exact numbers he said I was going to go to or whatever, but he said it was super bullish, told me a little bit about the project in the video, gave a price prediction, and I said, hey, that looks like a good project. Let me go do some research. I did a ton of research, really liked it, and I wound up doing really well with it, right? And that's how you guys should treat content creators, even me, right? You should not just blindly follow me 100%, right? I wouldn't even blindly follow me any percent, right? What you should do is take what I say and weigh it against your own analysis, right? So there you go. Anyway, continuing on. Shout out to Elionics. Said the sauce is done at home. Dinner time. Take care, everyone. Elionics, eat some sauce for me, my man. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue on. Now, for Adam, actually, shout out to Adam. Adam, yeah, it got the nuke. It could have been worse, I'll be honest with you. But taking a look here, let's go ahead and, red dot printing on the daily. This is obviously, most things are going to be a little bit more bearish today, right? Like fresh daily red dot could bring you down a little bit more, right? If that confirms in about 39 minutes and 4 seconds, likely going to give you some kind of another move to the downside. Whether it's a little one or a big one is another question, but you are sitting right on top of these highs, guys. You do have the structural support right here that we are basically tapping as we speak. I'm going to pull a little bit of a range here. I'm actually going to pull this an interesting range from the high to the low here, right? Value area low coming in right on these technical highs, and we are testing the value area low. Typically, this is not a place where you want to get super, super bearish. Coming into some of these lower time frames, let's take a look at the 4-hour. And again, very, very similar to a lot of these other coins. VWAP rolling to the upside on the 4-hour. Your 2-hour green dot's likely printing. There it is. So short-term bounces, not impossible, guys. Not impossible. So what I would look for here is very similar to a lot of the other things we just looked at. Right? I would look for a short-term bounce, but I would expect it because of our money flow on the 2-hour, on the 3-hour in the red, coming out on the 2-hour, and the 4-hour also coming out pretty aggressively. I would expect any move to the upside to be a shortable lower high. And where is that lower high likely to come in? Well, just looking at your general support and resistance, not even pulling out the Fibonacci retracement levels. Shout out to Poppy22, 1600 ETH by Valentine's Day? Maybe, potentially. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Yeah. Oh, baby, we got 700 likes, guys. 1,000 likes. I don't know if we're going to get it at this point. I probably should have pushed it when there was more people in here. But yeah, if we get 1,000 likes, guys, I will be giving away another month of that free Frankie Gandal's premium Discord. I bought the nuke. Let's go. Shout out to Satoshi Glakamoto. Oh, shout out. Satoshi said Adam's literally my largest bag. Let's go. Okay. But you guys are crazy. Taking a look here, right? If we do see a lower high to come in, where would you expect it to come in? You could look at your local Fibonacci levels, right? But just looking at support and resistance here, let me just move this level a little bit to make it cleaner. Look for a bearish retest of the value area low, right? It's going to be your probably the closest major level of resistance. That would be where I'd be looking for the lower high to come in. And then, right, like this is kind of how I do my TA, right? Like, well, where's the value area low? Okay, boom, that would make sense, right? Come bearishly retest. If we can't get back above that if we can't get back above that value area low and hold it as support, right? In order to get another move up, we got to get accepted back into this range, right? So if we don't get something like that with bullish confirmations, basically what you would look for is a rejection, right? Now let's see if we can get any confluence here. Let's pull a fib from the local high to the low. Do you have confluence? You do. You got your golden pocket pretty close, right? Because again, support and resistance is not an exact level. It is typically a range. So this is kind of where I would look for rejections, understanding that the 786, we might make a run for that 786, right? And that's basically what I'd be looking for on Atom, to be 100% honest. I'm going to make this short and sweet. This is the 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't expect any significant moves up until we get that 4-hour green dot with money flow coming up on the lower time frames. But if we do get that, the first major level I would be looking at as resistance would be the value area low, especially because we have the confluence of the local golden pocket right there. So there you go. And then, yeah, red dot on the daily, like, it's looking very similar to everything else. I'd be very careful about short-term moves to the upside because with money flow and the daily red dot, it could be likely that we continue to the downside. Take a look at some of these higher time frames. Red dot printing on the 3-day, red dot printing on the 4-day, 5-day, and there you go. 6-day money flow crossing back over into the red. So, yeah, that's what I'd be looking for on Atom. All right, let's go. Let's see. This chat is always popping. Shout out to So Gucci. Hey, bro, it's popping because you're in here, my man. Let's go. Let's see. Theo Rodriguez says, made it for the daily sauce. Shout out to Theo Rodriguez. I appreciate you for being here, bro. You're the man. You're the man. All right, let's see. Continuing on here, what do we got? H-bar. Actually, quickly, I want to take a look at Quant. Because remember, guys, Quant was the coin that we were going to recheck in on, right? Like I was like, hey, we're going to come back here tomorrow or the next day, and we're going to check on that 1-hour money flow crossover to the downside. And then we couldn't do it because the day that we were checking on it, we never got the crossover. But we were saying if we get that crossover into the red on the 1 hour, that may be a sign that we are going to get a bigger move down. And kind of the thing we were looking at there was the money flow crossover into the red and the 16 and 12-hour red dots that were printing at the exact same time. But we actually didn't get that setup to play out, guys. Well, it's not that the setup didn't play out, but the 12 and 16-hour red dots printed and confirmed before the money flow ever crossed over. But I do just want to show you, more often than not, the power of the money flow crossovers, guys. Even if you take it from the low of this move, which is technically where, I guess it was probably the high of this move. No, right here. Basically, the low of this move was where the money flow crossover into the red for the first time before faking into the green again and then coming back into the red. But even if you measured from the bottom of this move, that 1-hour money flow crossover wound up giving you a 6.75% move to the downside. So there you go. The setup didn't play. The thing we were actually watching to come back and check on, that setup didn't really play out, but the 1-hour money flow crossover was the trigger we were looking for. And as long as you didn't get stopped out on there, it could have played out for a decent move to the downside, especially, obviously after today. But let's see where we're likely headed in the near term. Obviously, we've done pretty good on Quant for the past over a week here. But we are starting to cool off here, right? But let's go ahead and see, daily red dot printing. You got to be cautious that this could potentially give you a bigger move to the downside. I would go ahead and pull this. Very hard to say. Let's see if we can pull this whole move here. Yeah, right to the value area low. From the high to the POC. Lackluster bounce, right? Perfect example of what we just talked about today on the live stream. Kind of the theme of this live stream is shorting lower highs, right? You deviate from the high, break back below the value area high, bearish rejection. You could look for short entries here. You could look for short entries here. If you miss the move to the POC, you wait for the bounce. There's your lower high to continue back down to the value area low. It's like clockwork, these volume profiles, right? And then this was likely a local golden pocket. Go ahead and pull it from the local high to the local low. Boom. Indeed. I do not try to do this on purpose. There it is, local golden pocket retracement. So once you get the move to the POC, real quick, this is a sauce episode, guys. We might not get to every altcoin, but this is a sauce episode. And I'm going to go to regular candles because I got to do this, right? Here you go. You're looking at this thing moving to the downside, right? And you've broken below the value area high, bearishly rejected, and now you're expecting a move down. You have been accepted into this area of balance. You're expecting that point of control to be the next move. Boom. Let me extend the volume profile, right? You come down. Come on. Come on. Ugh. This glitch on TradingView is such a pain. There you go. You come right down to the point of control, right? So now you're saying, hey, I can potentially short a lower high. Why are you looking to short a lower high? Because your money flow on the daily is now in the red. So you're not expecting this green dot on the daily to give you an absolute moonshot. You're expecting it to give you a lackluster bounce to put in a lower high to come down and make a lower low. And you've already been accepted below your value area high, so you're already expecting your value area low to eventually come in. Does this make sense to everybody? Now look what happens. And where are you expecting the lackluster bounce to go to? The way you do it is you go ahead and you take a look here. Pull from your low, your local high, to the low of that dump. Now you know that this is likely the level that price will come up and put that lower high in at, right? Either the golden pocket or the 786. And then obviously, we're using bar replay mode, so we know what happened. You came into the golden pocket, you put in your lower high, and then obviously we know you nuke down to your value area low, which is where we bounced off of not too long ago, right? And then that's your value area low. Again, this is very annoying because TradingView has been glitchy with this stuff recently. But there you go, right? And then you come right down. Is this guy serious? Are they seriously trying to ruin my day here? There we go. Right down to that value area low. Tapped it to the dollar. Not quite, but tapped it to almost to the dollar, right? So there you go. I try to give you guys as much sauce as possible today. It's a Monday. I'm feeling good. Is it Monday? I don't know why I'm checking this bracelet. It doesn't tell me the time. But anyway, yeah, hopefully you guys find that insightful. You got to throw the sauce in there, right? Because when I see these setups and like how they likely played out, that's what I like to use for explainers, right? Because I just knew that was likely going to be a golden pocket here. And, obviously I can't catch every single trade, but it's very easy to see them in hindsight to explain them, right? So that's why I do this. But what are we expecting now, right? We got the move. Get rid of the vertical line. Get rid of the arrow here. We got the move from the value area high, value area low. We've gotten above our point of control, and now we are starting to dump just a little bit. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know where these levels came from, so I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to find fresh levels if we are going to continue up here, right? Which, again, daily red dot might not be likely to get another big move to the upside. I would probably consider or favor a further move down before another move up, especially if we print a red dot here and it winds up confirming. I would look for a potential move back down to test that point of control as support, right? Test that level as support. You have your local golden pocket there giving you some confluence, right? So again, you can draw this as somewhat of a box, right? And yeah, I would look for a potential retest of that point of control, and then if you can't hold it, I would expect to lose it, come back to the low. But again, your daily looks different here than everything else, right? Your daily looks much different, right? Like look at XRP. No, XRP likely looks different as well. But look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's daily on Market Cipher We are in the red with the money flow, right? And we have, it's coming out. It's freshly coming out here, right? And we haven't really been in that long. But you come over to quant, we've been in the red for so long here. This actually looks a lot different than Bitcoin, right? So I'm not just automatically attaching my sentiment of Bitcoin onto every single altcoin. It will likely transfer to most altcoins, but not all. This obviously looks different, right? We've been in the red for way longer, right? And we are just starting to print a red dot here. So I would expect this to be a potential retest of the POC. And if your money flow continues, I mean, your money flow is actually kind of coming up here, right? So if you print that red dot and get a bigger move down, potentially to this point of control, slash golden pocket, and by the time we come down here and test this, we get bullish confirmations with our money flow on the daily creeping up towards that zero line. That might be an area where I'd be interested in looking for some longs. Again, assuming everything looks good. But this does look different than Bitcoin. Wait, are we on our current price action? That might be the problem here. Yeah. Well, no, not even. Yeah, it's still, yeah, it still looks very different than Bitcoin, right? We were one candle behind. But there you go, right? And the red dot is printing. So if this confirms, maybe look for a further move down to that blue box. That might be where I'd be looking for some potential longs. I typically don't trade the middle of a range. I would have rather caught the long right here with this bullish divergence on the daily. That would have been a beautiful trade. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for on quant. Let's see. Does that make me and Dave roadies? Creighton C. What do you mean? I'll take you guys. If you guys are roadies, let's go. I will carry Tyler Durden. He dedicated, his delicate feet must never know the harshness of the world. Shout out to Tyler. Is Tyler in here? Where's Tyler? Tyler Durden. Tony D. I thought that was Tyler. The T freaked me out and threw me off. Shout out to Tyler Durden. I don't know if he's in here today, but shout out to Tyler. Tyler does a lot for the channel, guys, as all our mods do. Let's see. I covered my short at 25.4. Easiest gains ever. Shout out to Tone Lee. Bing bong. Let's go, baby. Throw it for him. Throw it for him, baby. And again, one of those dollars got on camera, and 50 of them went in the air. This is going to be a nightmare to clean up. But, guys, with that being said, we are quite behind. So tomorrow's altcoins will start with HBAR and Algo because we did not get to those today. But we got to keep this somewhat not time sensitive. We got to keep this somewhat on time, the stream. But, guys, tried to spit as much sauce as we possibly could. So, yeah, shout out to everybody still in here hanging out till the end of the stream. Shout out to anybody who is in here who is new. All this talk about trading, but I could never trade you, Frank. Hey, Bailey. Hey, Bailey. You the GOAT, man. You the GOAT. Bailey's the GOAT. Guys, if you don't know Bailey, Bailey is Ben's brother. BitBoy's brother is in the chat, guys. Shout out to Bailey Armstrong. We love Bailey. He's like, he's one of our favorite people at the office. Don't tell. Oh, whoa, whoa. There's Tyler Durden. You rang? Yo, this is what I mean. Tyler is quick. Number one, quickest hands in the West. All of our mods are quick, but Tyler somehow knows what I'm thinking before I ask it. Like, if I didn't even have to say Tyler's name. If I just thought, hey, where's Tyler, and didn't say anything out loud, Tyler would have been like, hey, did you say my name? And I'm always like, no, Tyler, I thought your name, and somehow you heard me. But shout out to Tyler Durden. Yeah, Tyler's the quickest hands in the West. And, yeah, no, he does a lot for our channel. I don't know. Tyler, they were talking about you, and I saw you, and I was like, I don't think he's here today. But Tyler is always here. Shout out to Tyler, man. We love. Show Tyler some love. Show the mods some love in chat, guys. They make this channel what it is, as the CandleMafia does. Thanks for correction. Let's see. Sup, G's? What's up, James? What's going on, bro? You were on fire tonight, sir. Oh, hang on. Hey, Wick, are you hanging out with Captain Kirk? I think Wick might be hanging out with Captain Kirk. And you know what's kind of scary? Wick, if you ever changed your name in your profile picture, I would never know it was you. So make sure you always leave like a hint there, because I don't want to like never know who you are. But yeah, so yeah, he's hanging out with Captain Kirk, changing his name. His name is Etsy, featuring Wick 589. Shout out to Wick. Wick, do you have an Etsy shop? Let me know. I'll check it out. Maybe I'll buy something. Hey, you never know. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and spin that wheel of pain and pleasure. Here we go. Bing bong. Spin numero uno. What do we got here? We got a good amount of likes today. Let's go. 741 likes. Let's go. His name was Tyler Durden. Durden? I don't know. Bing bong dong. Shout out to Robert Cadena. Robert Cadena, shout out to Cadena. Let's go. What's up, man? Medic Money, what is going on? Great job as always, mods. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Give them a giveaway, baby. Spin numero dos. 742 people, 742 likes. I appreciate everybody for being here. Let's see. Shout out to Frankie for the saucy sauce. Shout out to Gen Z. Or is it Gen Z? Shout out to you. Miss Crimson Caravan is in the house. And as Miss Crimson Caravan messages, says, hey there, hi there, ho there all, I say, Mrs. Crimson Caravan Company. Okay, I don't know why she's holding this, but Mrs. Candles just made an appearance, and there's her hand. And she, what are you doing with that dollar? You're free fondling the dollar. Don't fondle the dollar. I found it. No, I know you found it, but you're fondling it. I know, it's 100. You want it? Come on. Come on, go buy yourself some juice. All right, anyway, guys, here we go. Spin numero tres. Oh, Mrs. Candles tasting the goat fuel. Let me know what you think. I don't think I like it. There's mushrooms in it. It tastes like portobello. What? Yeah, it's like gabagool. Just try it. All right, here we go. Give them another giveaway. What do we got? 3 for 3? Let's go. 2 for 3? Scam. Here we go. Spin number 4. We got a few more. No worries, CandleMafia. No worries. Didn't like the goat fuel. Mrs. Candles did not like the goat fuel. You don't like it? Oh, I'm just live streaming. Yeah, okay. All right, see you later. Thanks for visiting. She goes, what are you doing? Same thing I do every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mrs. Candles. I almost said her real name. You guys know her real name. But yeah, here we go. What is it? Oh, my God. Guys, I might have to re-rig the wheel. Oh, wait. Oh, this one's hidden. Oh, no. Oh, no, guys. I accidentally... Okay, hang on. I'll give you guys extra spins. I didn't even know that was a thing. I accidentally took one of these off? I didn't even know that was a thing. Hold up. I'll spin the wheel 10 times. We only have 7 spins tonight, but I'm going to give you 10 because I did not know that was the case. I was like, I got to rig this in your favor. And then I was like, it already is, but it wasn't. Shout out to you guys. Let's see. Ain't got no time for another giveaway. Shout out to, I never know how to say your name, man. Risknor. I don't know. Nice nails, DZ. Shout out to Metavice. Shout out to DZ is sitting on the floor right next to me. All right. Shout out to So Gucci said it's Tony D, guys. Hey, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Goat fuel down. Oh no. We're gonna have to order another mouse mat here. Hey, speaking of mouse mats, guys, bear with me. I just spilled goat fuel everywhere. But speaking of mouse mats, guys, if you check out the merch store, we now offer giant Frankie Candles mouse pads for your trading. I guess you can call them trading pads for your mouse pad pleasures. That's fine. I'll deal with it when I get off. It's okay. I'll deal with it. Thank you. But yeah, guys, if you check at the merch store, we have massive Bing Bong Frankie Candles mouse pads. They're absolutely legendary, so definitely go check them out. And also, Ben has them, and Ben's the ones on the BitBoy Crypto store are literally just Ben's face. I low-key want one. I'm not going to lie. Guys, what is going on? You guys were so good to me today. And this thing's just rugging everyone. Shout out to Dave P. Says, love the channel. Dave P., I appreciate you for saying that, man. We're live here every single day at 5:40, every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once in a while, we do show Mrs. Candle's hand. It's like one of the most famous hands on the internet. Water-resistant mouse pads. Yeah, exactly. They are Aztecian and Cactus Moss Water approved. No worries. See, he got nervous and I found out. Shout out to So Gucci. But yeah, shout out to Dave P. I appreciate you for being here, man. I appreciate you being nice. Oh, they hear us talking about the goat fuel, but now they're pushing the G Fuel. I wonder if we can get a G. I actually have some contacts over at G Fuel. Tony D, I'm gonna give you the contacts. Maybe we could reach out, or maybe I'll just reach out to them because I know the creative director over there. Yeah, guys, go check out those mouse pads. And I don't even remember what I was gonna say. Shout out to G Fuel. And here we go. Oh God, 13 spins. Okay, all right. You guys didn't get rugged. Yeah, we're here. I spilt the drink, and now I'm here spinning the wheel 142 times. But that's okay. We do it for the Mafia. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 13 giveaways. That's more than 50%. So Shout out to everybody who's your calves, her hand. shout out to mfold31. Shout out to you, bro. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you're new here, stick around, hit that subscribe button, smash the like so we can push this content out and spread the gospel of crypto to and grow the Candle Mafia into even more of an unstoppable force than we already are. But yeah, guys, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and if you are into urgent market updates when Bitcoin dumps or pumps, don't forget to click that notification bell. And with all that being said, thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Again, we are here every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. I'll see you guys same place, same time, 5:45. I'm not going to say it again. That's all I got. I love each and every single one of you. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. What do you mean you want a cut? I can't give you a cut. Oh, hey. I will say this, guys. I know sometimes these Frankie fakeouts seem like these encores or these like after credit scenes seem like they're set up. They're not. They're always by accident, especially that one that just popped up where I had no audio. I moved my keyboard to clean it, and for the first time ever, I mean, just like every other time, I accidentally popped back up live. Super weird. But Mrs. Candles is yelling at me saying that she wants a cut of the Frankie Candles merch because she designed my mouse pad that I have on my desk and the hats. Mrs. Candles originally designed these hats. All the hats, and all the hats that we have on the site she designed, but we low-key just stole the idea. But don't tell anyone. But she's Frankie Candles' girlfriend, so, I mean, what better gift can you ask for? But, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're new to the channel and you're liking the energy, hit that subscribe button. I love you all, and I don't just say that because I'm on YouTube. I say it because I mean it. For real, I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's all I got. Frank Candles out. Bing.